So just some review. Last week we implemented what we call triggers and the point system. So basically it's this area between the points that are between the pipes that when the player passes through it, this on trigger enter 2D method is called, and we put add score in that method, so it adds a point when it goes through again. Alright, so that's just a very quick review. Now for some player death. There are a couple components to what player death really means for the player. There's like three main things. They obviously get a game over screen, and they have a button they can press to play again, and they also can't control anything anymore. So those are the three things we're going to tackle today. The first two we'll tackle first. This is pretty simple for a game over screen. So some text and button we can implement, and Unity makes this really easy. So if I go to Unity, this rectangle just shows you the UI, and if I just click this, this is kind of what I set up for today. You can do this by just going to Canvas and then right-clicking to go to create empty. This calls like game over screen or something. Name it something random. And then on that object, you can go to UI, go to legacy, and then press text, and then go here, and you can just type whatever you want. Let me make this a little clearer. And you can edit the text field to make it bigger, so it's not showing up for some reason. So in just the time, let's take this and then move on with this UI game over screen. It's very simple, but it gets the job done. So there's a game over text, and there's a button. So let's go back. We now have the things that the player can see and interact with. Now we have to actually write some code to have the game over screen only appear when the player dies. And the player dies when they hit the pipe. So how do we do this? We're going to go to our logic script for one, first thing. Go to our logic manager, and we attach the logic script to the logic manager. We just double press or double click that. It opens up Microsoft Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, whatever interface works best for you. I'm excited too. And then go to bottom. I've already written down some code of what it's supposed to look like, but we're going to be implementing the method called restart game right here, and we also have to add this at the top of our code because this is a package that Unity also needs to have in order to run this code that we're trying to run. So that package is called scene management. Unity engine.scene management, and then we can just load scenes using what's called a scene manager and things like that. So this is what the method we're going to be using, and it's called restart game. All right, moving on. Okay, yeah. Moving on, we're going to actually assign this method to the button that we created, and it's really simple. We need hold on, give me a second. Close the door. Okay, so as I was saying, Unity makes this like super easy by just literally just like drag and drop and clicking. So let's go back to Unity. Let's go to that button we created with the game over screen. It's this play again button. We can go to its components in the inspector, scroll down until you see on click. So this is pretty intuitive. You just guess that whenever the button's clicked, whatever's under this on click method is going to be run. So say it's going to look like this when you first create it, but I can add a method to call using this plus button. And we're going to need to reference a object in the scene with the method that we want to run. So it's this logic manager object right here. So I'm just going to drag, drop right here, and you can see that this is no longer grayed out. And if I press on that, there is this logic script beneath it. And that's because logic script is on the logic manager object. I can scroll down until I find restart game. So what that's going to do, if I zoom out, then what it's going to second, I like die, then I just play again, and then resets the game. So got that done. Now we need to have like a method to make that game over screen show up whenever the player actually hits a pipe. So you do that by implementing what's called on collision enter, and go to the player circle, player scripts, and then what you can do is use this method on collision enter 2D just as a general thing in Unity. Whenever you're gonna want like something to happen whenever two things collide, you will use this method like literally every time. It's called on collision enter 2D, and we're gonna write some code in it that will be called whenever the player enters a collision with the pipes. So as you can see, I have this code called logic reference.gameover, and that's referring to this reference to the logic script that I have up here. If you recall from last week, we set the logic reference as a game object, whatever game object the Unity finds with this tag attached to it, and then it's going to get the logic component logic script. And with that reference, we can access the methods inside the logic script. So if I go to logic script right here, I'm going to find the method that we actually want to use, which is game over. And it's very simple. We can just do game over string dot set active true. And what that does is that this thing is actually a game object that I've referenced. And it's going to be that, go back to Unity, it's going to be this specific game object that I will drag and drop to this logic script right here. So I can just, so if I just, this is the UI for the game over screen. And then if I go to Logic Manager, drag and drop that game over screen to the actual game over screen, then it will reference that object. And now what can happen is that if I press play, just give it a second to load. When it hits this pipe, this thing actually pops up. So that's actually really useful because we don't want this thing to just be up on the screen every single time or every single moment the game is going on, because we only want it to run whenever the player is actually dead. So I can press play again and then do this over and over again. Make sure it works every time. Again, it seems like it's working. So that is that game over screen done. The third thing, which is I'd say more complex, is that we want the player not to be able to control anything anymore. Because you want to be able to still play the game whenever you're dead, because that's just not how the game works. So what we're going to do is use a Boolean, because whenever there's like two states, which is in this case if the player is alive or dead, we're going to want to use a Boolean that has a true or false value. We're going to make it, or make the Boolean and name it is player alive, and if it is true, then the player will be able to play, but if it's false, the player will be, the player's control will be relinquished. So, going back to here, let's go to our logic scripts. Or actually, not the logic script, the player. And we're going to create a Boolean called is player alive. We want to set this to true every single time the game starts, because we want them to actually be able to play when it starts. But the thing is, is we're going to use an if condition. That if player's alive, if this is true, then they can actually control it. So what if we write it like this? What happens is that whenever this is false, this piece of code right here, which controls what the player can do at any time, basically meaning that whenever they press space, they flap. If is player alive is false, then this code will not be able to run. Essentially, that means that a player will not be able to control anything, which is exactly what we want. So we want to set this false whenever they collide with a pipe. So just say this out, and then go back to Unity. Let's go to circle, and you can see this little checkbox. Whenever a boolean is created, it's going to make this little checkbox that whenever it's checked, that means it's true. If it's not, it's false. So currently it's true. So right now, whenever I press play, it should let me control as usual. So let's say I'm playing. Score's going up, everything's working as possible, but then, oh no, I suck at the game. So this is player alive thing is unchecked, as you can see. So that means it's false. And I should let me show you one more thing. So when I'm controlling it, obviously I can flat bird, do all that stuff. But when I die, you can see that I can't flap anymore. So basically, what that means is that that's exactly how we want it to work. And guys, that is actually all I have for Flappy Bird. That's project complete. It's it's very bare bones, but at the very core, that is what Flappy Bird really is. So yeah, that's Flappy Bird complete, guys. Let's go. Okay, so I wanted to do some fun stuff. We want to make this a little more prettier because it kind of looks ugly right now. I'm not gonna lie. So, do you guys have any suggestions for what to use for the sprites? Could be anything. Just come with some goofy ideas. Yes, sir.
Use the Flappy Bird from Flappy Bird.
What's up?
What about your face?
My face?
Yeah.
We really funny about an Uday head and the spins.
Oh no, yeah.
Can we use a rat?
Rat?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
I
rat.
Oh, wait.
Hold up.
Flappy rat.
Any good ideas, guys? Any good ideas? Let's say. Ooh, guys, if you don't know what these are focus. What? Jerboa?
Yeah, the pygmy jerboa.
Oh, is that that creepy thing?
No, not the creepy thing, the little one. The pygmy jerboa.
Does it just like
What's up?
No, that one's a giant.
It's like work as a PhD.
Pretty much, yeah. There's some stuff too, but.
No, what? What do you mean, Look at that one, that one's a tiny one.
What's that?
What is wrong with you?
Okay, you know what?
Is that the thing with the...
No.
Why do you hate it? What's wrong with you?
Oh shoot! Where's that? Hold up.
Yo, wait, stop YouTube. You're spoiling the pasta.
My mind's
We are making it, not making fine.
Hold up.
It's a Tully monster. I need my mind to. Where's? Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
Wow, you give us a freedom of choice and then you're just gonna do it yourself.
Listen,
You're gonna lose your
okay, this is test. they can actually
Yo, you have Melania or whatever down with that.
so seriously forget how to do this. See how you finish do that, and then if I do circle. Oh
I feel like it might be a
my.
bit big though. Is that just me?
No, I think the hitbox is correct.
I'm sorry, you can just space it.
Hold
Oh.
on.
It's just so
Ooh, oh my gosh.
It's like it's decent enough to have.
Oh,
Max,
hold up. The bell is doing, so if you guys want to go, you can. Just remember to throw your trash out, but I'm going to keep on doing some weird stuff because.